Hi, I'm Imogen. Try and ignore the background. I moved to university and yeah, if the lighting's off, that's why I've got all the lights on I can in front of me. So yeah, I think I look slightly alarming actually because I put on makeup. I've got this really vampy, like blue green lip on. So yeah, I don't know, I just fancy putting on makeup and this is what I ended up with. It's like 11:30 at night. I'm here to film my first video while at university. And now I need to find it because it's a tag. The Booshelf Magazine Tag by Harriet Rosie. Okay, there are 10 questions in this. I watched her film this when she released it, maybe like a week ago, a few days ago. It's all been a bit mad, everything's muddled in my head from when things are. So yes, I won't have a lot of the books here because I've only got a couple of shelves worth, a couple of literally a couple of shelves, not like a couple of bookcases, I mean like a couple of shelves. So we're going. You're currently sitting on top of 3 books and I'm sitting on the step stool to try and get any sort of level right. But yes, these are the questions. Book review. A book you could talk about for hours. I've also not looked at these questions, so I'm thinking as I do it. Actually, I'm kind of looking at it. Call Me By Your Name by Andrea Asserman. Say What You Will. I loved it. I absolutely loved the film. I don't know if it's one of those things you read at the right time in your life and it means something to you. But yeah, that book. I think I've talked about it for a while already. But yeah, Call Me By Your Name by Andrea Asserman. Oh, this book. I read it and I fell in love and it means so much to me. It's like one of 3 books I think that I've got with me that I brought with me that I'd read already. So yeah, this book and the film. I watched that at least 3 times while I was packing to go to university. I just had it on in the background, and then it won't go in the background because I'd be paying too much attention. Author spotlight. An author you've read lots of books from. Okay, this is one of the other few ones I have. John Flanagan. This is The Ruins of Gorland, which is the first book in the Ranger's Apprentice series. Okay, I'm going to have to count how many of these books I've read. Should be in here somewhere, okay. I've read all 12 of The Ranger's Apprentice. And at least 3 of Brother Band, so 15 of his books I think, which is a lot. This is a series set in kind of a version of medieval England. Well, it's UK but it starts off mainly in England. Follows Will, who's an orphan, when orphans were taken in by the Baron of Redmount, and they turn 15, they get chosen by masters of different crafts. Will doesn't get chosen by any of them, but mysterious Ranger Holt is there that day when they're choosing the candidates, and he gives the Baron a letter which Will wants to know what it's about. So he climbs up to the tower to find a letter and ends up apprenticed to Holt as a ranger. And honestly, I don't know how many times I've read this book. This one looks beaten up enough. This is my second copy of this book, because my first copy literally is falling apart, like the top of the spine, the bottom of the spine. This bit of my spine doesn't exist anymore, the top doesn't exist anymore. The front pages are falling out, the back pages are falling out. It's literally, I couldn't read it anymore. So I bought myself a new copy and I reread it and I still love it. Okay. Question number 3. Interviews. A bookish person whose brain you would like to pick. I'm going to say, let's go looking for one of her books. I don't have any here. Deborah Levy. I have well, not recently fallen in love with her, but I read one of her books about 4 or 5 years ago, Black Vodka, which is a short story collection, and really, really loved it, but couldn't, at that point in time, couldn't find any of her other books. I kind of forgot about it, and then her newest book came out. Oh my gosh, I can picture it's got a yellow cover. I have to look this up. And I wanted to buy it, but I said no, like, you can buy something else by her that's not hardback and really expensive. Which I did, and I bought Swimming Home, which I read and absolutely loved. So then I treated myself to, go find him, The Cost of Living, which I read and I absolutely loved. And I've also read Hot Milk by her, which I really loved, and the two of her novellas they put in together, Beautiful Mutant and Swallowing Geography. Yeah, I've read 4 of her books this year. I'd really like to treat myself to a new one this month. Don't know, I'll see how much money I have left at the end of the month because university. But yeah, I love her writing. Also, I love how she thinks on topics that might be considered quite normal, and maybe sometimes not much happens in the stories, but things are happening, and the way she views the world is so interesting, and the way the different characters of hers all view the world completely differently. I would like to know how a brain like that works. You can see so many different things. Okay, for Inside Indie Book Stores, are there any indie bookstores in your area? Yes, there are. I've just moved. I now live in Falmouth in Cornwall, and there is a bookstore, the Falmouth Bookseller, which I've been into. I restrained myself, I didn't come out with anything. Empty Hands, nearly picked up a Deborah Levy book, I didn't, and a Karl Ove Knausgaard book, which I also saw in there, I didn't come back, I came back empty-handed. So I'm very proud of myself. So yeah. And it seems really interesting, and we've also got a second-hand bookshop, which I always love. I was looking in there for something specific. I was looking in there for Life of Pi, which my book club is going to read next, but they didn't have it, so I'm going to have to buy a copy. But yeah, recommendations by genre. The genre you read the most from. I'm going to say I read a lot of things, like a lot of completely different things. But probably the genre, like the last year and a half, actually no, it's not even that long year, since I properly got back into reading, is probably literary fiction. Which some people are like, ooh, literary fiction, ooh. But I don't know, I love normal people's lives, and I love the fact that it's not always massively plot driven, and I love seeing how other people experience life. There's a theme here, but yeah, literary fiction. So for example, the last thing I read was I Love You Too Much by Alicia Drake, which I absolutely loved. I can't remember where I finished before that. I was about to say the book I finished since I moved here, but that's a poetry book. In here somewhere should be my list. Sex and Rage, Advice to Young Ladies Eager for a Good Time for Evil Bits. I've just read Beautiful Mutants and Swallowing Geography by Deborah Levy, Hot Milk by Deborah Levy, The Nine-Chambered Heart by Alicia Harriet. Like, those have all been literary fiction. And the other couple of things I've read in that are Which Doesn't Burn in this one by Amanda Lovelace, and Brown Girl Dreaming by Jacqueline Woodson, which are both poetry books, so literary fiction and poetry, but more literary fiction because I find it quite hard to find poetry that I really like. It's hard to get recommendations, so it's hard to find them. Okay, next question. Opinion piece. A bookish opinion you feel strongly on. I don't know what to think about this one. I suppose one that I do is that reading is for everyone, and you can read anything and it still counts. I don't know. I think reading can feel quite elitist at times. Like, only if you're like well educated you can read certain types of books, but like anyone can read anything. I think a lot of people with me have assumed that I was going to university to study English literature because of the type of things I read and the amount I read, and I'm like, no, I'm someone who's studying marine biology. But that doesn't mean I can't read all these literary fiction books, because yes, amongst that I'm reading things like Spying on Whales by Nick Painson and Winter by Carlo Knausgaard, Rising Tide, Falling Stars by Philip Huari. Like, in amongst all of that literary fiction and poetry is things that you consider more relevant to me. But just because I've not gone to university to study English in any variety does not mean that I can't read those types of books that people would be like, oh, they're highbrow. And yes, I'm well educated. I went to a private school and I'm very, very fortunate in life with that. That my parents believed that that was something they should do for me and my sister, and they had the resources to do it. So, but that doesn't mean that I'm any different, and that I read different types of things because of that. So yeah, anyone can read anything, and anything counts. I read magazines and I'm like, yeah, this counts. They're talking about topics I'm interested in, I'm reading and I'm absorbing things, new information or new ideas. It's all part of it. Okay. Recommending bookish creators. Recommend a book blogger, booktuber, or bookstagrammer. Okay. Look through my... Who's uploaded? Oh, I know who. I watched your video last night. Where have you gone? Murphy Napier. That's her page and her name. And I love her videos. I love her enthusiasm. And I think she has some quite interesting opinions on things sometimes. And what colour have I gone? The background is literally yellow. Does this kind of... There we go. Colour balance just got a bit confuzzled. So yeah, I love her videos, they're so fun. Readathon roundup, your favourite readathon. I'm not very good at readathons, I think, I'll be honest, like, I enjoy them and they're fun, but I'm really, really rubbish at them. I think the only readathon I've completed this year was the Owls at Readathon, and the creator of it's just literally out of my mind. But yeah, that was my favourite one I've done this year because it's the only one I've actually finished. But yeah, that's it. They're fun, but I'm not very good at them. I'm not very good with, like, okay, I think it's because I create a TBR and I shouldn't actually create a TBR. I just like, when it gets to that point in time, read the books that I want to read, which are relevant to the prompts, because As soon as I put a book on a TBR, I was like, no, I don't want to read that anymore. Publishing trends, a trope you enjoy in books. I don't know if it's a trope, but I love when books explore the relationships between people. And by that I don't even just mean like romantic relationships, I can mean familial relationships or friendships, because I think those are sometimes just as, if not more important than our romantic relationships. And I love exploring those as someone who, like my friends, like the people I tell everything to, and I'm really close to my family, and I find it fascinating to see how other variations of that work, especially as someone who's literally, I moved across the country. I moved from the East Kent coast to Cornwall, so from as far east as you can get to almost as far west as you can get in the country, and I'm trying to form new kind of bonds and relationships, and yeah, I love that exploration of that, which is probably why I love reading literary books and poetry and those sorts of things, because I don't know if that counts as a trope. What's something more tropey that I like? Good bit of feminism. Well, actually not just feminism, but like the increase in equality that we see in books now. May it be with sexuality or feminism, gender, race, I don't know. I like seeing the different variations of that, but I also like seeing the good versions, if that makes sense. Like it doesn't have to be terrible that you are. Yeah, does that make sense? Like, yes, you're gay, but that is not the combination of your whole character, and it doesn't mean that your life is going to be horrendous. Like, that's nice. I would love to see that trait more often, because often it's like doom, gloom and misery. So yeah. Question number 10 is, who do you tag? And like, anyone who watches this, because like, I know one watches this channel. I'm literally talking to a camera on my own in my room. But it's fun, and I enjoy it, and I get to talk about books, which isn't something I get to talk about with a lot of people, because a lot of my friends, actually almost all my friends never read, and if it is, it's never anything that I've read, and if I start talking about it, it's just like, the same with my family. Even though my mum reads, we read completely different things most of the time. Most of the time she reads like crime type books, and that's just not me. So I'm going to go before I actually fall asleep. So I need to do washing up first. Adult life, guys. Woo-hoo. But to say that, I'm really loving it here so far. Apart from the amazing weather we've been having. It's been like, it was like 50-mile-an-hour winds yesterday, and torrential rain, and it rained a little bit today, which isn't too bad, but it's like, what is this weather? Like, I was hoping for like a late summer. I'm not seeing that happening. Maybe it will next week and it'll get nicer. But yeah, I'm really interested to know if you could comment down below what genre you guys really read, and some recommendations within that genre, because even though I tend to read literary fiction and some poetry, I do read all sorts of other things, especially historical fiction I read a lot of sometimes, and I do read some fantasy, some sci-fi. Not as much as I used to. I still really like it, so yeah, just let me know it'd be really nice to talk to you guys. So, bye. Thank you for watching. I hope it's not too bad, and I hope this video is not too long, because as per normal I have rambled, and this is 23 and a half minutes long, pretty much. So hopefully if you're seeing this, it won't be quite that long. So yeah, I'm gonna go have a drink, tidy my room, do my washing up, and sleep for like 10 hours because I need some sleep. Oh, I also need to have a shower, wash my hair. Might do that in the morning though, yeah. Might do that in the morning. That sounds like a good idea. Okay, I'm probably kind of sweaty. Who knows? Let's go.